Thank you very much, everyone, for joining the webinar today that we're going to have with NovelASPect. And today we're going to be talking about using ECC Desktop with NovelASPect. And today is May 22nd. A bit of housekeeping today. Our webinar is scheduled to last for about an hour. All the participants at this time are muted. If you have any questions, you can submit those questions via the GoToMeeting question screen. Within your GoToMeeting dashboard, if you expand the orange arrow in the upper right-hand corner of your screen, you will see an area for questions. You can put all your questions in there. And during the presentation, we'll have about 3 polling questions. So I would encourage you to participate in our polls. They're very good and will give us great insight as to who you are. And at the end of the presentation, we will have a question and answer forum. And I'll be happy to address any questions you have, and John will be addressing questions too. And just so you know, the webinar is recorded, and you will receive the recording of the webinar later. So today's presenters are myself, Allegra Mitchell, and I am the Customer Success Manager here at Webgility. And I have with me today John Fallahy, who is the Director of Sales at NovelASPect.
Yes, hey, thanks, Allegra, and I'm really excited to have you join us. You know, one of the reasons we're bringing you on to show our audience the Webgility is because this is a common question we get in the cloud. You know, a lot of people have a website where they're doing e-commerce and all these transactions are taking place, but when it comes to getting that information into QuickBooks, that's where the question comes in. And we are thrilled to have Allegra show us this amazing tool that is going to make it possible to easily move the data from your e-commerce store into QuickBooks. So thanks so much for doing this, Allegra. I'm very excited to have you here with us.
Thank you very much, John. All right, so with that wonderful introduction John gave, I'm going to talk about Webgility and who we are. Webgility, we're headquartered in San Francisco, California, and we have our development and support centers in Indore, India. We also have US-based support as well. And our products serve thousands of small to medium-sized business customers worldwide. We've been certified with Intuit since 2007, and we're also partnered with top e-commerce platforms, shipping providers, and hosted QuickBooks providers such as NovelASPect. And we also have hundreds of web designers, developers, QuickBooks Pro advisors that are all promoting our products. And our products are ECC Desktop, ECC Cloud, and ShipLark. Today's webinar is going to primarily focus on ECC Desktop. So our agenda today is, what does ECC Desktop do? How does it work? In terms of what does it do, I'll give you a brief overview of what it does, and then I'll show you how it works. And I am actually running ECC Desktop within the NovelASPect environment now. So we'll just go through how a store is added, how orders are downloaded, how to post to QuickBooks, and we'll go through some other features as well. And then we'll talk about how to sign up for ECC Desktop, and then we'll go right into our question and answer forum. So right now we're going to take some time to have our first polling question. And our first polling question, since we know that NovelASPect, you know, the products serve a lot of different customers. We want to know what's your primary role, you know, at your particular company. So I'm going to have the poll is open right now. So if you can, go ahead and participate in the poll, and we'll take a little pause. All right, we're going to close the poll now. So I'm seeing, you know, a lot of folks that are you know, it's really kind of an even split for everyone. You know, I see there's a nice even split between accountants and bookkeepers, business owners, and web developers and designers. So this presentation will have information for all of you, so you will really be able to see this integration firsthand. So thank you very much for your participation. All right, and now we are just going to go straight through the presentation. So what does ECC Desktop do? In ECC, this is the centralized place where you manage your orders. So to the business owners out there, what it does is it automatically pulls online orders from your store. And it does that by connecting to your shopping cart. ECC Desktop connects to over 40 shopping carts in marketplaces such as Amazon and eBay. And you can also process shipping or generate shipping labels with various shipping providers such as FedEx, UPS, Indicia, and Stamps.com. And kind of the main thing about this is really QuickBooks integration. So you can post the orders that ECC downloads from your online store as sales receipts or invoices. And I'll show you how that's set up within the store configuration. And you can also update order statuses in your store, and of the orders that you, of the shipping labels that you print out using ECC Desktop, that tracking information is contained within the orders, and you can communicate back to your online store to notify the customer. And if you need to synchronize inventory, so synchronizing inventory is the process of balancing inventory between QuickBooks and the online store. ECC is able to do that manually as well as automatically. So our connections. I mentioned that we connect to over 40 shopping carts. This is just a snapshot of some of the most popular carts that we have. I know you recognize Amazon and eBay as marketplaces. We also accommodate and connect to Etsy. And in terms of the shopping carts, we've got Magento, which is one of the most popular carts, and we've got BigCommerce, Pinnacle, and a host of other shopping carts. So our product is very versatile in terms of the connection process. When I talk about kind of how to add a store, for the developers there, I will talk about kind of the 3 different ways that ECC Desktop connects to various shopping carts and marketplaces. Now, in terms of shipping providers, I did mention that ECC Desktop is able to generate shipping labels, and you can do that with FedEx, Stamps.com, Express One, Envisha, and UPS. And you can actually connect to, any one of these shipping providers. There's no additional fee for shipping or fees assessed for the amount of shipping processors that you integrate with ECC Desktop. So if you have a multitude of carriers that you're using and you're using one of these, you can connect those all up, and I will show you that process, how it works. So right now I'm just going to go through a nice overview about really kind of how ECC works. As I mentioned, ECC downloads the orders from the online store marketplace. What you're looking at right now is a snapshot of the inbox. And when ECC downloads all these orders, kind of just like in your email, they go into an inbox. And as you can see, we've got the order number that's displayed, we've got the date, we've got the customer, we've got the amount, and we also show the shipping status, QuickBooks status, and the posting to store status. So there's a lot of really good information within this inbox, and you can also display or hide particular information that you'd like to see. All right, shipping orders. So the image that you're looking on the left-hand side is the shipping module, and the shipping module is integrated directly inside of ECC Desktop. So it takes in all the information, for example, the ship to information that's contained within the online order, and it sends that to our shipping module, so you don't have to recopy that information. It just slides everything over. As you can see, it also gets the shipping charge that the customer has paid within the order right over here, and also the shipping method requested, which is the shipping method that was selected by the user in the online order at the time the online order was being created. So since that's integrated inside of ECC Desktop, it really allows you to have that full integration and that one place to manage all your orders and ship your orders. So in terms of the shipping, you can ship single packages, you can ship multiple packages, and depending on the type of features also depend on the particular shipping carrier. So the shipping carriers have particular features. When you connect to those shipping carriers, you can utilize those features. But kind of across the board, you're able to validate addresses based on that address validation, and when you set up the service and the package type, you're able to get real-time rates, and those real-time rates are generated by the carrier. So that's really cool. The rates aren't coming out of nowhere. The carrier is actually generating those rates, and they're being displayed within the shipping module. So since the rates are generated, you're also able to generate a shipping label. So printing out that shipping label. The NovelASPect environment is really, really great because it utilizes that Citrix connection to connect to your local printer within your network. So it's really able to look outside of that hosted environment, and like if you have a thermal printer, it's able to see that thermal printer utilizing the Citrix bridge. And so when you generate a shipping label, that tracking ID is attached to the actual order, and you can utilize a feature called Post to Store, which notifies the customer that the order has shipped, changes the status to, let's say, shipped or completed, and depending on the features of your shopping cart, it can notify and trigger the shopping cart to send an email to your customer. All right, so posting to QuickBooks is super easy. So when an order is posted to QuickBooks, here's a nice little kind of zoom-in snapshot of the inbox. You select the order, you click on Post to QuickBooks, and you get a notification saying, all right, this order is posted to QuickBooks. I know an invoice has been created, invoice number 10, and this is how the transaction appears within QuickBooks. As you can see, it retains the quantity, the types of items, and description. Most importantly, the amount, are they taxable, any kind of tax, and this is really highlighting the integration portion, the QuickBooks integration portion of ECC Desktop. I know a lot of companies say they have QuickBooks integration and they do an IFF file. The QuickBooks integration that we have with ECC Desktop is a complete integration. You're able to look at the data within QuickBooks, modify data within QuickBooks, and those modifications can easily be synced up to ECC Desktop. So you always have control over what is your data, what is the type of data that is being imported into QuickBooks by our product. Now, posting to store. Posting to store is really great because, after you ship an order, part of the order fulfillment process is communicating to the customer that their order has shipped, because it's not done until the user has received, like, okay, great, it shipped, awesome. That's truly when an order is completed. So just like when you're posting to QuickBooks, here's a little snapshot of the dashboard right here of the inbox. You select the order, hit Post to Store. Post to Store, I also mentioned that when you ship out any of the orders utilizing ECC, the tracking information is attached to the order, and as you can see, this is what the second image is showing, and the order is showing as shipped. You can see that the carrier and method are also attached to the order. All that information is sent back to the online store in the Post to Store function, and this is actually an email trigger from the BigCommerce store that has been, so our product has sent, posted to the BigCommerce store, and this is actually an image of what the customer receives. As you can see with the BigCommerce store, the order status has changed. It is now shipped, and the tracking information is contained within this actual email. So this is a really good way to complete an order. After you're done with that, you can totally put those orders in the archive and then process the next ones. So now this is my kind of highlight overview of what ECC Desktop does. We're going to give you another polling question. So since a lot of you are accountants and are web developers and have clients, we want to know, are your clients selling online? So I'm going to bring up this poll here and launch the poll. Just want to know how many clients that you have are selling online. Is this going to be, a solution, a really good solution for your clients? So we'll keep the poll open for a bit and let you guys answer. Great. I'm going to close the poll now. So a lot of you are saying, yes, this is going to be a really good solution. This is really great. This is the whole reason why we're here presenting in front of you. And another portion of you said no. Well, of the no, we can definitely talk offline about the types of kind of intricacies your particular clients have, and we can see if we can turn those no's into yeses. So now I am going to continue with the next portion of the presentation, which is a demo of ECC within the NovelASPect environment. So as I get this up, if there are any questions kind of before I get started, I'd love to take those questions as I switch into the environment. All right, it's a very, very quiet class today. I do encourage you to ask questions and, let me know. Any question is great. All questions are great. You never know. Your question may be a question someone else has who is too shy to answer it. So, or to ask it. So it'll be really great. I see we have our first question here. Thank you very much. So our first question is, can you use the ship date as the posting date for the sales receipt in QuickBooks? Yes, you can. And I will show you how that is done within the NovelASPect environment and how that's done with ECC. So that is a great question. Thank you so much. I will definitely get to that question when I show you that feature and how to do that within the configuration. All right, so I'm just opening up my QuickBooks here. And as you know, since you guys are using NovelASPect, you're utilizing QuickBooks within the NovelASPect environment as well as utilizing ECC in the NovelASPect environment. So I actually have the NovelASPect environment open. This looks very familiar to you all. And as you can see, I've got my I've got QuickBooks Enterprise here, and I've also got ECC. So these applications can be added, and they're right here on your dashboard. So since I've already opened my QuickBooks company file, let's go ahead and open up ECC. It's really easy, and this is pretty much how it works. So you log in. And what's really great about this, the Citrix receiver is that, when I was using this, it really felt like I was not in a hosted environment. It felt like I was on my computer. So this is really amazing for me. I'm really enjoying being in the NovelASPect environment. So I was super excited about this too. So what you're looking at right now is a test store. And this is the way your stores will work. When you purchase an ECC Desktop subscription, you can connect up to 3 stores. So this is really good. I'm showing you one particular store, and I would like to add a store with you right here and just show you how stores are added utilizing the Add Store Wizard. Because this is the way you add stores. If you don't have any stores, this is what you're going to be doing. So we'll add a store right now. And so for all the developers out there, I will definitely talk about the 3 types of connections and what's going to be needed in order for ECC Desktop to connect to a particular store. So what you're looking at right now is the first screen of the Add Store Wizard, and you could give your store a name. This store is, the name of this store is how it's going to appear in ECC Desktop. So since this is a BigCommerce store that we're going to be adding today, I'm going to call it BigCommerce. I'll call it BigCommerce Store. And then you can select one of the stores here from this list. As you can see, we've got a lot of stores you can connect here. A lot of WordPress stores for you developers there. Do a lot of WordPress, Xcart, Xcart 4, Xcart 5, and then of course Magento, and we have our hosted carts just like BigCommerce, and here are our marketplaces. Here's Amazon, Amazon UK, eBay. So and Etsy. So since this is a BigCommerce store, I'm going to select BigCommerce. Now, depending on the type of store you have, will govern how it connects. So for example, if you were connecting a PHP cart, and I'm going to use some technical information for you developers out there. So for a PHP cart, such as Magento, ECC Desktop communicates with those stores by utilizing a WebGility Store module. And the WebGility Store module is pretty much a folder with a data set of information. So rather than looking at the entire database, ECC Desktop only looks for the information that the store module needs. That store module can be installed utilizing our product, an FTP client within our product, or you can utilize an FTP client that you're personally using, such as Fire FTP or FileZilla, and install that WebGility Store module inside the shopping cart. And then once that WebGility Store module is installed, ECC will need just the address or the location of that store module within the database. Our second connection are API-based carts. API-based carts are carts that already have an API. They already have a set amount of data they put in that API, and ECC Desktop connects to that API by using the path, the API path or token. So this is kind of like carts like BigCommerce. I know Pinnacle Cart has an API connection. Xcart 5 is also an API cart. So those particular carts, 3D Cart, those carts utilize an API path and token and username. So that information that ECC needs is packaged within that. And then you have marketplaces. Marketplaces are pretty much, Amazon, eBay. It's kind of like an API. The marketplace will decide exactly the information that we need, and to connect, it's really just kind of your marketplace login username and password, initialize the connection, and boom, you're connected. So those are the 3 types of connections. Let's go back into adding a store. So I'm adding a BigCommerce store, and I'm going to put in my API path and my credentials. I have them all pre-prepared for you. So it won't be taking too much time. So I'm just going to put that information in there and then connect it right on up. All right, so I've put my connection information here. I'm going to go ahead and connect the store. As you can see, it's super fast. The NovelASPect environment is very fast. So it is connected to my BigCommerce store right away. It's downloaded the information. Now I can continue. So the next thing is to put in your company information. This usually is the ship from address if you're printing out shipping labels. And so, you could just fill this out really quick. This also appears on the packing slip if you're utilizing packing slips. So, yeah, it's really, really quite easy here. Here's the phone number. I'm just going to put a blank phone number here. And boom, you're done. So the next step, which is super important, is connecting to QuickBooks. So as you can see, I've got Enterprise connected here. So you can choose the type of QuickBooks that you are connecting to. ECC Desktop within the NovelASPect environment can connect to the US versions of Pro, Premier, and Enterprise, and also the Canadian versions of Pro, Premier, and Enterprise. Just so you know, with the Canadian version of Enterprise, ECC Desktop does not support any of the add-on features, so such as Advanced Inventory Module, Advanced Pricing Module for Canadian versions of Enterprise. But however, for the US versions of Enterprise, ECC plays very nicely with those, and we're actually expanding our feature set to really lock into bin locations, lot numbers, and have all those things displayed. So I just wanted to mention that. So I'm connecting to a US version of Enterprise. Now the cool thing about this, I know file locations can always be a little bit squirrely to find. So this is a really quick way of locating the file location within QuickBooks. So in case you don't know this little trick, you open up QuickBooks, press Control, the number 1 key, and that brings up the product information, most importantly, the file location. Copy that file location, and make sure this box is closed. Minimize QuickBooks. QuickBooks always should be open during this process. Paste this in. There's my location. I'm on single user mode. If you have multi-user, you can change it to multi-user mode after this initial connection is initialized. And the connection type is always local. The Citrix receiver really simulates a local connection. And so what you're looking at right now is the connection certificate. This is super important, and this is why we say we have QuickBooks integration and why ECC Desktop is an integrated application within the company file. So you'll fill out this connection certificate. Yes, you want to always allow ECC to connect even if it's not running, and this final check mark here just really gives ECC Desktop the full admin credentials to create and modify any type of information within QuickBooks. So we're going to hit continue and done, and I've now connected. So it's going to download customers if you've got items and also other data. That's super important for ECC to utilize. All right, next. So this right here is just some quick settings to tell ECC how you want to record orders, download customers, create customers, and how products are identified. So we're going to create a sales receipt. If you have customers that you want to create in your customer center, this is how you can create them. Depending on how you have your products set up in your online store, matching criteria, you can do it by SKU. If you want to utilize ECC to generate shipping labels, you can put that here. That's fine. And now the most important part is how does ECC know what status is being downloaded, or what status and the type of orders should be downloaded. These are some quick settings. I know with BigCommerce, any order that's ready to go is marked as awaiting fulfillment. This is going to be different for every cart. Some carts use open, some carts use pending or processing. It's really going to be different. When I show you the configuration, I'll go into detail about how that's done. When an order is shipped, completed, this goes back into the post to store settings, and when an order is canceled. All right, you're pretty much done. And this is it. So at this time, ECC Desktop is now creating your store. So before we go to the dashboard, I do want to go into the configuration and show you some really important screens that are really going to help you understand how ECC is downloading orders and what data is creating in QuickBooks. So for example, we're going to go to the transactions screen within the store configuration. Now, I had a question earlier about can we utilize the shipped to date or the ship date as the sales receipt date? Yes, of course. So right now I'm creating sales receipts. I can set up those sales receipts, and I can set it up to connect to a particular deposit to account. And once I've got that, I can save that option. Now, you asked what type of, what is the transaction date on that going to be? Sure, here's the ship date. Super easy. So if you're using the ship date to number your date of your sales receipts, you can do that too. These are a lot of really cool settings. If you want the online store numbers to be your sales receipt number, you can do that too. So these are a lot of really particular settings that you can use, a lot of levers and buttons you can push and pull to really get that customized solution for your store. It really locks into how you're doing things in your store. Now on that sales receipt, you can decide to display information that you want to see within the sales receipt as line items. So the shipping details, any order notes, payment details, customer comments, all those are going as line items. If you're using purchase orders, you can tell ECC to trigger a purchase order to be created by QuickBooks. At the same time, another, a sales receipt or an invoice or an unpaid invoice is being created within QuickBooks. So it can create two transactions at the same time. Another area that I want you to see are the customers. So if you have a customer center, you can say, all right, ECC, when you post the order to QuickBooks, create this customer in the customer center. Now, if you're concerned with data limits or you're using a marketplace and you particularly don't really care about maintaining a hard-coded customer record, you can utilize a standard customer. So here's my standard customer, online store orders, and I can say all my sales receipts go under that standard customer. So it really helps you keep your data limits low. It allows you to do whatever you need to do and this is the flexibility that I'm referring to about how ECC gives you that flexibility depending on the type of way you are processing orders and the way things are within your QuickBooks company file. So another area here that's super important are products. Now, if you haven't seen any webinars that I've done in the past about inventory management, I talk a lot about matching criteria. And at the core of it, matching criteria is all about how ECC recognizes your products in QuickBooks and in the online store. Now, if you want to get into kind of some more intense discussion about matching criteria, well, how does ECC handle inventory? I definitely encourage you to watch some videos and webinars that we have on that, and I really touch on some really good best practices about matching criteria. So ECC needs to recognize what kind of the format of a product in the store and in QuickBooks. And if any products fall out of that matching criteria, or if you don't have any products in your QuickBooks company file, ECC can create those products automatically within your QuickBooks company file when an order is posted to QuickBooks. So there's a lot of things ECC can do in terms of posting to QuickBooks. So this is really highlighting the integration portion of the ECC desktop integration with QuickBooks. Now, another super important screen is the orders screen. Now, you really want to make sure ECC is downloading orders and putting those into the inbox, orders that you intend to process. So usually when I see everything checked, that's no good. You really want to say, all right, and if you're unsure about what that status is, take a look at your shopping cart and ask yourself these questions. So when you go into the back end of your shopping cart and you look in and you look at that and you look at all the orders you need to process, what is the order status of the orders that you're like, all right, I need to process? So for example, BigCommerce, awaiting fulfillment. That's the status. When I see orders that are marked as awaiting fulfillment, I know I have to process those. Then you ask yourself another question. Are those orders that I'm about to process, are they already paid for by my payment processor? If the answer is yes, then you say, all right, under process payment, no mark is paid. Great. Now, for those orders that are marked as awaiting fulfillment and they're ready for you to process, do those orders need to be shipped out utilizing ECC or shipped out in general? If that answer is yes, under process shipping, you want to say yes. So this means all orders that are in my BigCommerce store that are marked as awaiting fulfillment will be downloaded into the inbox within ECC Desktop as paid and unshipped. And that's pretty much all you need. If you want to micromanage or kind of see the orders that ECC is not downloading, you can say, all right, download, but put those in the Ignore tab. If you just want to see, that's fine. But you don't want orders that you have no intention of processing flooding in your inbox. It's just going to be quite confusing. So we have an Ignore tab so you can see the inverse. All right, the next area I want to talk about is the post to store. So in the post to store area, in the first area, this is really about, all right, I mentioned posting to store not only sends the order status, not only sends the shipping information, but it changes the order status. So I've chosen, when I post to store, to change the order status from awaiting fulfillment, when it was originally downloaded, to completed. So this again is locking into the different type of order statuses that's in the online store. If you're using shipped, great. If you're using completed, awesome. You can really select whatever you're using to signify an order has been shipped out and it's done within here. So I wanted to mention that as well. The next area is shipping. So I mentioned shipping out orders. Now the most important thing is having a shipping charge within the company file. So that shipping charge is created as an other charge, and it's just really a line item. It's really important that that's there. And so if you want to ship your orders and process shipping labels, you hit yes. So here are all of the shipping processors ECC can connect to. As you can see, there are different flavors of UPS. We've got UPS Direct here. We've got FedEx. So as you select, a tab will pop up so you can actually put in your account information, register your account. If you need to save labels to a folder, let's say your printer is out of ink, you had no idea, you generated the postage, and you're like, oh no, there's no paper, but I don't want to regenerate that shipping label and pay some more postage. You can easily just access the label that was generated from a folder which you can create within the NovelASPect environment, and it can save it there. Most importantly, here are the printers. And this is what's really, really great about the NovelASPect integration and the Citrix receiver. So I'm putting in other printer, and here are all the printers that are currently in my office. So if I wanted to print out a shipping label, I can print out from the brother printer we have in our break room. And so this is really locking into the different type of printers that you have within your computer or within your network. So this is really, really cool, and it prints as usual. No really big changes. I tested it out. It looks great. So kind of that's how you have to generate shipping. And ECC also does taxes. You can let QuickBooks calculate the taxes, if you have created tax items, if you have, let's say, Avalara, and it's connected into your Pinnacle Cart store, and let's say it's calculating the correct tax at the time of sale, you can record your taxes as a line item within the transaction. And if you have a shopping cart that can't utilize Avalara, and you need to calculate, okay, local tax and county tax or state tax plus local tax, and need that parsed out, you can also integrate with Avalara. If you need to learn more about Avalara, I can show you that in our help desk. So this is pretty much the configuration of a shopping cart. Right now I'm going to close this out, and since I've already created this store, and this is my second store that I've created, I do want to show you how you can kind of toggle between the stores. So I've got a BigCommerce store. I've also have a Magento store. I'm going to go into my Magento store, switch in, and as you can see, no information really has changed. And here's this really cool graph right here. What you're looking at right now is the dashboard. Dashboard tells you a lot of great information about the orders that have been downloaded. Here's a nice little graph with the revenue, all the orders that I got from January and March, and about when is the last order number that was downloaded, how many need to be posted to QuickBooks, how many are unshipped. Let's go to our inbox and let me show you what everything looks like. So just like we saw in the image there, here's the inbox. All my orders are paid and they need to be shipped. So since they need to be shipped, let me show you the shipping module because I've set up FedEx already, and I can kind of show you around the different features that FedEx has to offer within the shipping module. So if I wanted to ship this out, I select the order and I hit process shipping. So when I hit process shipping, it immediately takes all that information from the online shopping cart that it's downloaded and puts that within the shipping module. This is the shipping module. So I can see area on the left is really about the order. So I can see $5 was charged and the shipping method was requested was either FedEx or UPS ground. Here is the ship from address. I can validate the address if I'd like as well. And on the right side, here are all the details it has for FedEx. As you can see, if you need a weight scale, if you have a weight scale you want to hook up to your computer, you can do that too. So I can select the information here, and you know, these are the different type of information services you have with FedEx, and here's that ship date right here. And so these are, you can even get rates if I wanted to get rates, and so this is really, really a good way to ship out your orders and generate the shipping labels. If I wanted to generate the shipping label, I hit that here. So let's validate this address. FedEx will validate the address. Let's go ahead and use the address. Let me go ahead and, all right, I'm going to do FedEx ground, one package, the declared value. Let's say the weight, it's pulling in the weight is 25 pounds, but let's see what it is for a pound. Here's my boxes that I have here. I usually do 2 by 2 by 2, and you can put in any type of weight. Let's go ahead and get the rate. How much does FedEx say that this can be done? So FedEx ground, I can ship this for $7.67. As you can see, the customer paid $5. So I'm losing about $2.67 when I ship this out. So that will kind of give you an indication of, well, maybe I need to increase my shipping charges so I can make a decent overhead on my shipping. Select the rate. Use this rate, awesome, press Save Shipment, and this shipment will be marked as ready to ship. You can go ahead and generate that label. So that label will print out on the printer that's connected to ECC Desktop through the Citrix receiver into NovelASPect, and boom, the shipping information will be connected to the actual order. So let's close out of here and go ahead and kind of do what you kind of show you what I'd like to show you, which is the QuickBooks integration. So let's take an order right here. I've already posted 3 orders to QuickBooks, but I'll post this right here real time. So I'm going to select the order. Let's pretend this order has shipped out already. Even if it's not shipped, you can still post it to QuickBooks. It's really all about how you process orders. So let's go ahead and post this order to QuickBooks. It's connecting to QuickBooks. QuickBooks should always be open when it is communicating with ECC. It's posting. Awesome. I have now posted this order. Sales receipt. Here's my sales receipt has been created. And now let's go and take a look at this particular order. I've also created a customer. So what's really, really cool about ECC Desktop, if you have to retrieve an order, and I know sometimes searching for orders in QuickBooks can be really, really daunting. Like, how do I search for that? By double-clicking this green check mark, it will automatically retrieve this particular order within QuickBooks. So here is the sales receipt that I just created for you within QuickBooks. As you can see, the items in this order are displayed, the order total, and I know this is going directly to my deposit to account, which I set up, and this is a completed sales receipt. So this is really, really good. This is the QuickBooks integration. A few other things I want to show you. ECC Desktop can also manage products. So we can look at the products that are in your online store and in QuickBooks and give you kind of a bird's eye view of what's in there. So here are the items that are in my QuickBooks in my online store. I haven't done the Get Products because it may take a little bit long, but it will definitely display all the products you have within your online store. So ECC is like a big pair of glasses, and these pair of glasses can see a lot of data all at the same time. So you don't have to go into two interfaces to maintain or look at that data. Now, there's also one component I do want to show you. So all this is great, but what if you need to automate this quickly? Within ECC Desktop, we have a tool called the Scheduler. And the scheduler will run while ECC is either closed, but most importantly, it runs independently of ECC. So what you can do is you can download orders automatically every, I don't know, minute or so. You can post to QuickBooks automatically every 5-10 minutes, however you'd like. And when orders are shipped out, you can post to store automatically. So a lot of these tasks can totally be automated, including the synchronization of products. There's a really great webinar that I did a few months ago that really talks about each of these areas kind of in detail and how you can really utilize and get the most out of the scheduler with this. So if you were going to do any of the synchronization automatically, you can do it up to 15 minutes in 15 minutes intervals. Just want to let you know the scheduler the speed of the scheduler does depend on the size of database. So if you've got 1,000 products in your online store and 1,000 products in your QuickBooks, 15 minutes, okay, it could take 30, but 15 is not too bad of an expectation. If you have 60,000, it's not going to take 15 minutes. I would say every 3 hours. That's more realistic because ECC is looking at both places. Now, I do see I have a question here. All right, I'm going to take some questions. Do we have any questions? I do encourage you to ask questions, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take those. And just so you know, one of the things about the scheduler, as it's running, QuickBooks should always be open. And that's just really a rule of thumb. Whenever ECC is communicating with QuickBooks, it should always be open. There should never be a moment where QuickBooks should be closed because ECC is always grabbing information and it really needs to always be open. So that's one thing I do want to mention. So that's pretty much ECC Desktop in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I do encourage you to answer questions now that we're entering our question and answer form. If you have any questions about how this can be applicable to your clientele or to your clients, I'd be happy to take those questions now. Okay, first question. Let me just expand my questions area here. All right. First question, do we work with Spree Commerce? Spree Commerce is, I believe it's on the roadmap. We don't work with that just yet, but that is something, that is an integration that we are currently working on. So thank you for that question. Stay tuned to our Twitter feed. We usually announce when new integrations are able to be utilized. So thank you so much for that question. Oh, we have another question here. Can you please demo a partial shipment? Sure, why not? Cool, so let me go back into the NovelASPect environment here. Just 1 second. All right, so generally asked if I can show you a partial shipment. Sure. So if you wanted to partially ship something, let's go back to let's just go back to the shipment right here. Let's hit process shipment. And partial shipment is really cool because oh, this one has one item. Let's do something that has more than one item. This will also give me an opportunity to show you some display settings. So if I wanted to see how many, let's see, how many items are in an order, I can click that to display. All right, let's see. This one has 2. Let's choose this one. So this has more than one item. Now, partially shipping, this is kind of the process of, you've sold 2 items, but one of them is not in yet. So you got a back order. So the shipping module is not only able to ship at the order level, but also ship at the item level by going to this multiple shipment tab here. So for example, I've got one of one right now, which has a quantity of 2. Let's say the school blazer is not in. So this can't be in the shipment. I'm going to change that to 0. As you can see, this is changed of 1 remaining to ship. I hit save and close. ECC Desktop will automatically create a second shipment for that item that's remaining. So if I wanted to ship this first shipment, I can do the same thing as before. Select this shipment. If I want it to be sent out UPS ground, it's going to go in one package. It weighs 1 pound. And I can pretty much ship as usual. I can get rates for this individual shipment, and I can also save the shipment so it's ready to go. And I can ship this out. Now, when I ship this out, since we do have a remaining, a package remaining, this order in the inbox will be marked in yellow, and it will be called partial shipped. Now, if you're working with UberCart or Magento, when you generate a label for a partially shipped order, it will send an intermediary post to store, kind of outside the post to store process, but it will send the information to the shopping cart of UberCart and Magento and send the shipping details, that partially shipped kind of intermediary. Then when you finally get that blazer in, you can go 2 of 2 and complete the shipment, and the shipment will be marked as shipped. And then you can post to store as well. So that's a great question generally. Thank you for that. And that is how you would ship a partial order. All right, so another question. How do you handle gift card redemption? When somebody redeems a gift card, how does it come in over as a payment type or a discount? And if someone uses a gift card and pays the balance with a credit card. Now, gift cards, that really is kind of utilized within, the shopping cart itself. ECC doesn't really care if the user utilizes a gift card or not. It just wants to know, all right, it can say, all right, if you're using store credit or something like that, this order is $140. If somebody used $25 of their store credit, it would be here. And let's say they paid the rest of it with a credit card. That credit card information, it would be here, like let's say Visa, and your payment processor, your payment processor would give a transaction ID. It would be here. I know you're well aware of PCI compliance. ECC is not going to be downloading this information unless you've connected it to your shipping processor. Your payment processor. But since your payment processor is likely installed in your online shopping cart, no need to even do that. Do we have plans to work with Square? Not at this time, but I can definitely check and see if that's on our roadmap. Really, Square is really kind of like, like a point of sale type of thing or payment type of thing. Usually all that stuff is handled by the shopping cart itself. So if your shopping cart handles spree and the order is created on that shopping cart, square, and the order is created on that shopping cart, then of course ECC is going to bring in that order. Really, it's about the online order itself, not just that payment. Great. Thank you so much for this question. Another great question. I think you touched on this before, but are you able to ship from specific warehouse or sites and using the advanced inventory? So this is really locking into the shipping capabilities, but also into the different lot numbers or inventory locations within Enterprise. That is actually a really advanced function, and we are going to have a webinar planned with our resident QuickBooks Pro advisor, who is really going to talk about how ECC Desktop works within the advanced inventory capabilities of Enterprise. So kind of in a nutshell, ECC, you're not able to ship from a particular warehouse, but when you're posting the order to QuickBooks, ECC is able to lock into, okay, what is that inventory site for those particular items, and then post it, and it will deduct from that particular inventory site. So that's kind of in a nutshell. Anthony, I will let you know what information our resident QuickBooks Pro advisor has, and he can send that to you offline. Thank you very much for that question. So I do want to take a little bit of pause and kind of talk about some of the resources that we have here for you at WebGility, and what you get with your subscription, and especially for the enterprise. We do have a customer success squad, and our customer success squad is made up of trainers, installers, as well as the QuickBooks Pro advisors to install ECC. Well, NovelASPect will handle the installation of ECC, but we'll of course help you connect it to your online stores and QuickBooks and go through that configuration which I showed you. We also have a training package that will show you how to utilize ECC day to day, and if you need QuickBooks consultation, we have a resident QuickBooks Pro advisor whose specialization is Enterprise and utilizing the advanced inventory solutions and add-ons within Enterprise. So if you ever have any questions for our customer success team, you can email us at success@webgility.com. And this also comes with the subscription. So, I also want to, talk about pricing. Pricing is something that, kind of what are the fundamentals of pricing? How much does all this stuff cost? So this, the fundamentals of our pricing, you can get a 15-day free trial. A plan is really based on the type of QuickBooks you have, and it's usage-based. So it's based on the number of orders downloaded. And we have monthly or annual subscriptions. Let me just go into the pricing for NovelASPect. As you know, you're already paying for NovelASPect. You're paying the hosting fee. ECC, in order to host ECC, it's an additional $10 that you pay to NovelASPect. So not only will you be paying NovelASPect for hosting, you'll also be paying WebGility for the utilization of ECC itself. Now let's talk pricing. So here's the Pro Premier plan. It starts at $49 a month. The Enterprise plan starts at $99 a month, and if you're using international, or that's the Canadian version, it also starts at $40 a month. So the Enterprise plan comes with implementation services, and that's a one-time fee of $9.99. So and the implementation services are performed by our customer success department. So how to get started? How do you get ECC? You can go to our website, webgility.com, select ECC Desktop as a product, and sign up for a free trial. If you're using Enterprise, you can sign up for a trial and actually a demo, and one of our sales reps will give you a call to get that started for you. And then if you want to utilize ECC Desktop within your NovelASPect environment, you can contact NovelASPect to load a trial version of ECC onto your NovelASPect integration, and you can give them your ECC Desktop username and your email address that you use to create the account. That would be great. Let's see, I do have another question here. Let's see this question. All right. And if you want to go on NovelASPect and find out more about this integration, you can go to NovelASPect.com/ECC, and that'll take you to a great informational page that'll really talk about the NovelASPect environment in hosting QuickBooks. Great. We're back into our Q&A forum. I know we're ending our time here. It's getting close to the end. Last thing I wanted to mention is support. We've got we've got support here at Webgility, and we also have NovelASPect support as well. So if something isn't functioning with the NovelASPect, contact NovelASPect first. They can fix you, help you through it. Especially if you have some questions about a thermal printer, you can always lean on NovelASPect to do that for you. And then if there's an issue that we have to attend to, NovelASPect will contact our support team to make sure to get that done for you. So you just want to make sure you're covered. You've got 2 areas of support, and with your Webgility subscription, it comes with support with the annual or the monthly subscription. So just want to let you know we're here for you. There's multiple resources that you can utilize. Now I believe we're kind of the last thing I want to show you, our webinar schedule. We had a lot of webinars this month. Our webinar next week is going to be about Webgility Insurance. So if you're going to utilize the shipping module and you usually insure your packages, I think this would be pretty good to attend. Webinars are at 10 a.m. and you'll be sent a survey after the webinar. Please let me know how I did. All right, so we're going to take our last polling question. Do you think this is going to be a good fit for your business? So I'm going to give you this polling question here. And just take some time to fill this out, and we'll keep the poll open for about 10 seconds or so. We can also contact you after this webinar and connect with you, especially if you're interested. We can get this done really quickly for you. And if you're not sure, also we can contact you and kind of find out where your questions are and really address those questions. We'll go ahead and close the poll now. So thank you so much for participating in that poll. Do appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining our webinar here. It's really great to announce this partnership that we have with NovelASPect. If you need to contact our sales department, here's the number here. If you need to contact NovelASPect Sales, the number is also here. So thank you very much to our viewers today. Thank you, John Falahy from NovelASPect.
Thanks, Allegra.
Thank you so much for attending as well and getting all this set up. If you ever have any questions, you can contact our sales teams. And it's been great working with you, and thank you very much for attending, and have a great day.